Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We have some very big things to cover from the initial Evocati 4.2 patch that went out today. This is going to be very full of spoilers. There's lots of Datamined stuff we're going to go over, so this is your spoiler warning. Lots of really big stuff that we're going over. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. And as we get into it, I will remind you just again, if you have not already left a comment on the video that I have linked in the description, you can do so, and you will be automatically entered for the giveaway that I'm doing for a Greycat MTC with lifetime insurance and the special concierge moonstone paint. That giveaway will be drawn during the finale of Invictus. You just need to leave a comment on that video again that I have linked in the video description, and you will be automatically entered for that. And then if you do happen to win, you'll just need to be able to contact me via Discord so that I can verify that you are who you say you are. Alrighty, so now with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into it. So we have a lot of data mined information to go over. We have some text information and a lot of images and sound files. There's a lot. Some very, very big stuff and very interesting stuff. So this patch is looking like it's going to be another humongously successful patch. Very interesting content, events, all sorts of cool stuff that we're going to be getting with this. So let's just hop straight in. We're going to go through the text stuff first that I have, and then we'll go through some of the images and the audio that I have as well. So we'll start by going over new locations that are coming in 4.2. So first we have what are called the Faro data centers. There are 10 locations and they are located on Pyro 4. This is accompanied also by two complexes, or a complex called the Lazarus Complex and Transport Hub. These is two named locations, Tithonus and Phoenix, with 3 complex buildings and 3 transport hub buildings each, and these are located on Pyro 1. So again, this seems like it's going to be in Pyro. I have seen some hints that there's going to also be some new locations in Stanton, but I don't think all of that stuff has been put into the patch yet. Again, from the Evocati patch notes, they said they had only put part of the stuff in that's for this new event to just start with a couple of things. So there's definitely going to be a lot more to go as we go through the testing process, as we get ready for this patch to go live, probably in June sometime. So yeah. Next, we have some new items. So we have first the Sterling Exploration Suit. This comes in a Granite, Sandstorm, Tungsten, Transistor, ASD, Olympian, Sediment, Alkaline, and Standard Edition, so different skins, I assume. This gives a 25% armor rating. Note, all status-resistant clothing has been significantly nerfed to this same rating. And the description is, designed to withstand inhospitable environments, the Sterling Exploration Suit provides a base level of protection from environmental hazards, including radiation. Combining Caldera's advanced insulation fabrics with sophisticated polymers, the Sterling is able to safeguard the wearer whilst minimizing disruption to movement. Additionally, a self-cleaning system automatically activates after radiation exposure to expunge dangerous excess down to nominal levels. So that's a big thing. Again, on the roadmap a couple weeks ago, we got a update added that said that we were going to be getting radiation gameplay pretty soon. I bet we'll get a further update on that with this week's roadmap roundup, but this is, I think, something that actually will have an effect, that it will make you radiation proof or radiation resistant. And this ties into a lot of the other content that it looks like we'll be getting as part of 4.2. Next, we have the Esterial Lab Coat. There's a standard and ASD edition. The description is the Esterial Lab Coat from luxury brand Fiore, I don't know, dares to answer the question, should laboratory clothing be fashionable? With a resounding yes. Based on the best-selling ATI jacket, this coat features slim tailoring, a high collar, and striking asymmetrical design. So this could potentially be, like how I mentioned a few days ago, Jared had hinted that there's a new feature coming in the next patch where you have to be wearing certain clothing to gain access to certain areas. I could see this lab coat being that sort of thing that you need to put on to gain access to a certain area or room in some of these new locations that have been mentioned. There might be other things as well, other pieces of clothing that go along with this, so we'll have to see, but I bet that's what this is going to be. And then next, for new items, we have Irradiated Creature Drops. We have a Copian Horn, a Valakar Pearl, and a Valakar Fang, one for each of the 3 stages. I'm pretty sure what that means is one from each of the stages of the Valacar. Remember, we have 3 known stages of the Valacar. We have the juveniles, which are in the game right now. You can find them at the Hathor sites. You can find them anywhere on, I think, Aberdeen and Daymar. Maybe it's in some places on Pyro as well. Then we have the adult ones, which I believe, let's see, the juveniles are, I think, 5 meters long or so. And the adults are about 15 meters, I want to say. So they're a fair bit bigger than the juveniles. And then beyond that, we have the Apex Valacar, which is, if I remember right from when they showed it at CitizenCon, it's like either almost as big as the Idris or bigger, like longer than the Idris. It is massive. So make it sound like that to me sounds like there have been the Fang irradiated versions of the Fangs of the juvenile, adult, and Apex Valacar. And as we get into this further, there are a lot of hints that hint, to me at least, seem to point at us getting both the adult and the Apex Valacar in this patch. There's a lot. There's a lot that makes me think of that, and we'll make sure to go over that here in a couple of minutes. So next, we have a bunch of new missions that are being added. I probably won't read through all the descriptions of them, but we have an eliminate specific NPC FPS missions. So this is a mission type that has you head to one of the new ASD locations to take out a specific member of the active security. This is a generic mission that comes in 4 variations. And I believe that is from Vaughn. You can get so some additional Vaughn missions that are in FPS. And next we have Coal Irradiated Copians. This mission has you head to a point on Pyro 1 where you'll be tasked with killing irradiated Copians. And that comes from the High Point Wilderness Specialists. And then we have Collect Radiated and then insert creature drop. So a Fang, a Pearl, a Horn, things like that. So it sounds like we'll probably be getting different versions of the creatures we already have and some new ones as well that are an irradiated version, which I believe means they've just been infested, whatever you want to call it. They've been exposed to radiation, and so I guess maybe they're changed a little. Maybe their appearance will look a little bit different. We'll have to see, but that's what it sounds like to me. But that one would be, you just go collect a single type of those different items. It says it could be Copian Horns, the Valacar Pearls, Fangs, or eggs. I wonder if that's Valacar eggs or the eggs from the Quasi-Grazer, maybe both. And it looks like that is a mission from Rayari Incorporated. Next, we have a hint at what I think could be we might end up getting another new Volt weapon. So this one is called Need Some Prism Shotguns, a collection mission where the player can turn in Volt Prism Shotguns. According to the description, these can easily be found at the new ASD location. So it sounds like they're just slowly rolling out all the new Volt weapons, one patch at a time. We got the rifle, we got the SMG. Now maybe we'll get the shotgun in this one. I think there's also a sniper and a pistol from Volt that we need still. So there's some other options that they could give us in the future. There might be a couple of others that I just can't think of right now. Those are 2 that I'm pretty sure, though, that we should be getting. But that'll be another new mission that comes from Bit Zeros. So that's really cool. So you go get a bunch of those, turn those in. Then we have some sabotage missions, and this mission comes in 2 variations, one that specifically targets ASD, and one that's meant more for generic location usage, having the player destroy a number of items at a location. That's also from Bit Zeros. And then we have some theft missions. This mission also comes in 2 variations, similarly purposed for ASD or generic like the previous set, having the player steal a specific item from a location. That would be really cool. I don't think we really have any missions like that at the moment. So that'll be really cool to try out. That's also from Bit Zeros. And then we have a combat support and requesting help mission. This set of missions have the player head to one of the new ASD locations to clear it of enemy FPS NPCs. And that is given from Eckhart Security. And then we have one more from Eckhart Security, which is Confront Suspect. This mission is a simple ship bounty mission that centers around the new ASD locations. So does, some ship there, you just go get it at one of these new locations. I don't remember, what does the ASD stand for? I don't think I'm not seeing anything anywhere that tells me exactly what ASD stands for. Maybe it's one of the factions or something. I just can't think of it. So we'll have to see what that ends up officially standing for. And then we have some other kind of little random additional information. So there are these things called NFM Arena Commander modes. I saw someone in the Pipeline Discord say this might mean new flight model. So potentially some big changes coming to the flight model. They're going to be testing in Arena Commander. It says it's available for racing, dual, squadron battle, and free flight modes. According to Yogi, this is apparently an iteration of the current flight model. Oh, okay, so maybe he mentioned that on Spectrum somewhere. So yeah, maybe we'll be getting some pretty significant changes to the flight model. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'd love to see some further changes and things like that. We also have some IFCS settings, some strings related to UI elements for your IFCS core being offline/online were discovered, alongside a string for your thruster being brought offline and online. Additional strings indicate that this might affect your rotation/translation sensitivity. And then there's also some random thing called Goblin Gathering event that was mentioned. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. I haven't seen any other information on that besides just a name put to it. So we'll have to see what that ends up shaking out to be. But again, this patch only included some stuff. That definitely has a lot more that we're going to be getting. So yeah, this is all, I believe this is all the tech stuff that I have to go over. So now let's transition over to looking at some images and different things that were data mined, as well as some sound files that we have to go over. And I almost forgot there was some data mine information for that Atlas combat variant, the Atlas IKTI. So we have, it actually does not use traditional, well, the ship or the guns on it look like the Panther repeaters or Badger repeaters, whatever they are. But apparently they are actually two size 0 bespoke repeaters, so you won't be able to change these. They do 11.3 alpha damage, which isn't a whole lot. I guess if they're firing really fast, you'll do damage pretty quick. They have a 225 meter range, so not super far. These are going to be meant for FPS engagements, and they have a 750 meter per second projectile speed. And apparently there's no shielding beyond the physical armor plates for it, so it'll be really interesting to see if you could just get like sniped in the head, of a good place sniper shot around those armor plates. We'll have to see. But that is a little bit of data mined information on the new Combat Atlas. So now let's go ahead and get into the audio files and the photos that we have to go over. All right, so now let's go ahead and go through all of the images that we have. A lot of these seem to be from potentially like things that are inside some of the new locations, just things on the walls around, some things like that. So let's go ahead and go through it. So first one we have, there's a little kind of banner thing here. It says, warning, you are about to enter a radioactive area. Enter at your own risk. We can see on the right side someone wearing what is the new radiation suit. I have another picture of that. I think it's of a different variant of it. I'll show in a couple of minutes here. And I do see now that ASD stands for Associated Science and Development. So this might be a new faction or something like that, a new group that is being introduced to the game. So we can see that there. It's probably some signage that you'll see in some of those locations. Next, we have what appears to be some diagrams showing an egg of some sort. It says on the left side, you see it says take specimen. And there's a warning that says eggs are no longer viable after 30 minutes. So it says, one, you're going to take the specimen. And on the second side here, it says navigate to calling tower. So I wonder if I don't know. We're going to have to explore what this means. I don't know what a calling tower would mean to take this egg up there to. Very interesting stuff. We're going to have to keep exploring more and see if we can figure out what this means. Next, we have another, poster sort of thing you probably see that says Employee Shuttle Station. Warning, restricted area, use of deadly force authorized. So maybe there's some place at these new locations that maybe no matter what, you're not allowed to go there or something like that. So it's, like an off limits area, which maybe you can still go there. There's, maybe there's some cool stuff you could get from there, but you just have to sneak in or just murder everyone. I don't know. So that's that one. Then next we have some art. We can see there's some guys standing over. I'm pretty sure these would be juvenile Valakar that they're standing over. Now we can see also, if you notice in the background, it's all looking like rainy and like cloudy, and there's some lightning and stuff. That's another That's another thing that we might be seeing pretty soon here in the patch. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. We can see behind them, though, there appears to be a outdoor freight elevator that has the ASD, Associated Science Development, or whatever it was, logo on it. I have seen there are similar things like this at the Hathor locations, and I think there might technically be some missions you could do that you would get cargo from there or take cargo there. I personally haven't tried those, I don't think, but this might play a big role in whatever this new event is, this activity is, so we will have to see. Next, we have some pictures of what appears to be the inside of some of the new locations. You can kind of see on the top left, it looks really cool, whatever it is. I just see lots of nice railways and stairs and these cool little art structure things it looks like. The top right picture, I can't tell if it's like a cafeteria they're looking into or a little store or something. It's kind of what I thought of when I first saw it. Bottom left is what looks to me to be like a medical area, because I think I can see some medical beds in the back there. And then bottom right's just, some other art piece looking sort of thing, just another picture of the building. So these locations look really, really cool just from these little still photos that we have. I don't know exactly how big they're going to be. I don't know if this is the 10 new locations they talked about or the Lazarus complex or, whatever it is. Either way, it looks really, really cool, and I'm really looking forward to checking those places out. So next we have a display that is showing the different Valakar stages and their average size. So this is one piece out of a few things that leads me to believe that we might be getting some bigger Valakar in this patch. So we can see the juvenile is 5 meters long. The adult is 30 meters long. So that's actually significantly larger than the juvenile. So I can imagine even an adult Valakar would probably be pretty hard to kill. Even if you have like one or two, maybe three of you, that'd probably be pretty difficult. You'd probably need several people to be able to bring that down. And then of course we have showing at 150 meters. This is the average size. There could be, variance in how big they are. The Apex Valakar, which is just a behemoth, a giant, a mega boss. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So just it's showing, it's showing it there. So, we might get it again. There's some more stuff to talk about with in regards to that makes me think we could possibly be getting it. Here's another thing that is another little bit of evidence. So we have another display, posters, something, maybe it's on like a computer screen, that says, "Attention, containment teams, vulnerable points of the Valakar." So it says to target the gaps at the corners of the mouth. It has softer scales, are located on the belly and the back, so they're probably easier to shoot at, get damage in on that. And on the right side, we have important. An irradiated Valakar may expel radioactive saliva when threatened. Be on constant alert. If you come into contact with the saliva, seek medical assistance as soon as possible. So we might be getting the Apex Valakar and at the same time be having to fight like a mutated version of it that shoots, a bunch of radioactive saliva at you. So if this ends up being that, this is going to be super epic and super cool. Even if it's just the adult Valakars that you fight, that'll be really cool as well. So just another little piece there that makes me think we're going to be getting some more stuff with that. So, maybe those combat Atlas suits will be a little bit more useful than we think they will. So next we have another diagram that's showing this egg. It looks like this is a Valakar egg, it says. So again, as a side effect of the preservation process, previously viable eggs will die in about 30 standard minutes if they are removed from the chamber. Please do not remove an egg unless you are certain you can use it in time. An irradiated Valakar egg may damage your health if it is handled without the correct equipment. So again, this is probably going to be something you need that radiation suit for, to be able to properly handle this and do whatever they're used for. I don't know, something with them, you'll need to have that proper equipment with you. And then we have another kind of poster thing that says, "Warning, restricted area, Lazarus Complex shuttle. Use of deadly force is authorized." So this could be at one of those locations again. There's some areas you can go, some areas you just are not allowed to go, or at least, you're not able to go without them using deadly force against you. So we'll have to see if we're able to go there. I really hope we can. Then we have some more pictures of maybe what is some of the new locations it looks like. We have like these really tall tower looking things that are, it looks like we're on Pyro 1 here. But there's some big towers that are kind of spread out over a little ways. And then on the lower area here, we can see some different pictures of Pyro 1 itself. So we can see on the left here, it looks like LZR Complex 1, 2, and 3 on some different places here. And then there seems to be some radioactive storm areas that are highlighted on this map. So you might get radioactive rain or something on Pyro 1, which that would probably cause a significant problem for anyone that, of course, does not have the right equipment. I wonder if that would do something to ships, or if it's just, it would affect you if you don't have, that suit. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that. And then we have another thing that looks like some sort of signage. So we have safety rules. Before you go, remember to chew. C. Com. Make sure it's working. H. Hazmat suit. Wear it. E. Emergency flare. Pack it. And W. Weapon. Grab it. So then we have, of course, safety starts with you, sort of little things like that. Warning, radioactive area, protective suits required. Let's see what else. This way to shuttle, this way to calling tower. So it looks like a bunch of little things that'll probably be slapped in a bunch of different places. There's some markers of like where you should aim on the Valacar to damage it and things like that. So, probably just some general signage you'd see, around these new locations and whatnot. And then a few others. We do actually have, there is a map here that appears to be for the complex, the Lazarus complex. You can see there's a ground floor and a first floor, it looks like. Possibly there's some more areas. Some of these areas where there's kind of a red area on the door makes it look like maybe that'd be some of the locked doors you have to be wearing certain clothing for to get into. So there's that. There's also a similar map for the Faro data center. It looks fairly similar. I think some of the rooms are a little bit different. So another possible location we'll have to go through for whatever this event is or this activity is. So really, really fascinating. And then we have a screen that seems to be just displaying the periodic table of elements. This might just be just some random art that might be there. Whether or not it actually is relevant to anything that we'd be doing there, who knows? But it is something that was found. And then we have an image that says, it's on the top it says Volt Gun SMG, but the kind of holographic weapon that I'm seeing here doesn't really entirely look like the Volt SMG. To me, this looks a little bit more like a shotgun. So possibly that Volt shotgun that we mentioned in one of the new missions. This might be, kind of a holographic look at it. I'd be really interested to see how that would even work. I assume it would kind of fire the energy bolts you get from the Volt rifle out. Maybe it has the arc thing still. I don't know. I don't entirely know how this would work, but I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to try it out and see how it does work. And then last, I will show there's a picture of the radiation suit in game. Again, I don't know which version of this it is. But it's like big, really big and chunky, which makes sense. There's a lot of extra layers and equipment that goes into protecting someone from radiation. So it makes sense that it's real big and bulky like that. I do wonder how much it'll hamper your movement. We'll have to see. It also at the top, it looks like maybe it's the headlight that I'm seeing. Looks more like it's more mounted in the center instead of off to the left, kind of how your lights work now on your helmets. So we'll have to see. Maybe the headlight, maybe you'll have a bigger light, different light. We'll have to see what happens with that, but it looks cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward to seeing all the different colors or versions of it that we can find in the game as well. So now let's go over some sound files that we have a couple of in regards to a couple of different things. Before we do that, I will mention that on the Pipeline Discord, they did mention that there are many files that were added pertaining to adult and Apex Valacars, animations, behaviors, etc., suggesting these will come sooner rather than later. And again, another piece of things makes me think we'll be getting these. And there's also some more stuff we'll be talking about here. So first, let's listen. We're going to be listening to a few things for a couple of minutes. We have first a Apex Valacar summoning discussion. So this is some people talking about something. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
All right. Hello, hello. Here we go. Problem. currently utilising the death cries of Valakar larvae to summon and harvest irradiated apex. Obviously, there are moral issues with this approach. Hypothesis. By using some recordings I made, I believe we could synthesise the same sound without the need to cause unnecessary pain. I just finished some initial testing and was finding encouraging solutions.
Excuse me.
Dr. Yorrett, hello.
Who are you?
Amanda Preston, sir.
What are you doing?
Oh, I was hoping to put together an official presentation, but I think I've found a way for us to summon the Apex Valakar more effectively.
We have a way.
Well, sir, we wouldn't have to destroy the eggs to do
They're
this.
worms.
But
They're worms. And you have real work to do.
yes, sir.
So there we go. So that, I don't know if that's going to be some audio we see or a video or something like that. Maybe some audio files you can listen to in a location maybe. But it seems to be hinting at using the Valakar eggs to trigger the Apex Valakar to come to the surface, then potentially harvest it. So maybe that's what we'll use the eggs for. Maybe you take the eggs, take them somewhere that you destroy them or something, and then the larvae, screams or I don't know, something, and that triggers the spawning of the Apex Valakar that then you have to fight. That would be a little bit different to how they showed it in CitizenCon, at least with the demo they did then. They showed they were on Monarchs, and you had to kind of drive around on the ground and create like vibrations to trigger it to come out. So maybe this will just be a different way to summon it, maybe it's, again, it might be an irradiated version of the Valakar, so it might be just, it's a little different than the one you'd find on Monarchs. So we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out, but that's the first audio file to go over. And now we have some nicer ones to go over. We have some weather sound effects. Apparently there have been a absolute crap ton of weather sounds, like for lightning and thunder and rain, that have been added, which makes me think we might be getting, sounds like we're going to be getting some weather effects that are added to 4.2 as well. So let's just listen to those for a minute or so here. So there you go. There is one of the thunder sound effects and a few different variations of the rain one. Again, apparently there are a ton more variations and versions of this, these sound effects. So I am very excited to see this. I know that they had showed some of the weather tech they were working on and that sort of thing in CitizenCon last year. We've seen it mentioned in some of the monthly reports, especially the last couple of ones. So it sounds like we might be getting some of those effects for 4.2, which I'm very much looking forward to. So then we have what is titled as Apex Valakar noises. This is, I think, the biggest thing so far that has made me think we will be seeing the Apex Valakar in 4.2. These sounds are really, really good, and they sound absolutely horrifying. So let's take a listen for a minute. So that sound clip goes on for about 1:40 seconds. I just played about 30 seconds of it, you know, just so we don't go over too long. But they all sound pretty similar to that, but a lot of variations of these rumbles and roars and stuff. It sounds so good. And that'll be absolutely terrifying to hear if you're in the middle of like a thunderstorm at night on Pyro 1 and you start hearing that. I will be pooping my pants. So I'm all for it. It'll be really exciting to go try and fight that thing. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then to finish off, I think this is the last big thing that I have for this video. I do have a video, this is from the Pipeline Discord, of checking out the rain on Pyro 3 or Bloom. Apparently there is rain already there, so I'll play a small snippet of the video that was posted here, just to show kind of what it looks like for when you're on the surface in first person. So that is going to do it for the current leaks and Datamined information that we have. Again, this was the first Evocati patch. I'm sure we'll probably get a couple more Evocati patches before we get the first Wave 1 patch. In that case, when we get that, I will definitely be able to check that out for you in-game. I'm not Evocati, so I can't go check things out right now. And even if I could, I couldn't show it to you. But once this goes Wave 1, we are going to be checking this out a lot. I'm very excited for it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments on what you think of what we've seen so far. What other things do you think we'll get for this patch? Do you think we'll be getting the Apex Valacar or the Adult Valacar? And what other things would you like to see with this patch? Just let me know any of your thoughts down in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you in the verse.